Welcome to Backpack HQ. Today we're going to discuss the Deuter 45 plus 10 liter Futura Air Trek women's backpack. This backpack is my wife's backpack. She has used it extensively. She has some good things to say about it, almost really no bad things to say about it. So the bag is 4.5 pounds when empty. It is 28 inches long. It is 13 inches wide and it is 9.8 inches deep. It is made from 650 denier polyester and nylon throughout the bag. There's some mesh on the bag. The zippers are not YKK, but I haven't had any issues yet. They are threaded and metal as well. A light jingle on them when you're walking, but not too much. The buckles on here are self-proprietary buckles, so they are Dueter company buckles, but they seem to work great. The bag has a top main pouch, which is just an open pouch. It does have a keyhole loop, which is great for keys, but you can stuff a lot of stuff in there if it's going to be rain gear or maybe even just snacks and lunch and first aid kit stuff that you kind of want to be able to get to without having to dump out your whole bag. That's a great spot for those. Getting into it, the bag has the top pouch that opens. This is how it becomes the 45 to the 55 liter with the compression strap that or a cinch strap that comes down, and then the compression strap over. Clips into the back here. Has a full open cavity with a hydration sleeve, and we'll actually get into that. So this front pouch is actually big enough and wide enough for hydration, or even if you're going to keep like top and bottom rain gear, keep it on the outside. This bag has that really big pouch, much bigger than the one that I operate with for my backpacking backpack. So I really like that has that. Keeping hydration on the outside, I think, is really key. Doesn't spill on the inside, doesn't get anything wet. If it pops, it's easy to refill, take off, and cook whatever you need to do with it. Now, this front pouch is pretty cool because you can set it down and open from bottom to top. So it allows you to sort of come right into this cavity. Now, there is also another hydration bag or pouch here, and then you can pass through your tube with a hydration port. As you can see, it can stop here because it goes into this bottom pouch, but it can also be unzipped, so there can be one whole cavity. The bottom compartment here is big enough for, my wife used her sleeping bag, her insulated air pad, and also a pillow in this bottom pouch. I think that's great because if you get to camp and your partner or your team has set up a tent for you already, or if they're carrying all the tent stuff, you can just take out what you need and your sleeping gear and still keep everything pretty much packed away. It does have a padded waist pouch with some of the side pouch bags on there. My wife kept her cell phone there. She kept her snacks in there, hydration tablets, stuff that's easy to grab. That's a backpacking pass, a wilderness pass for Colorado. But I want to focus on this back strap section here. So the name of the bag, they had that Air Trek was in the name. That's a patented idea from Deuter, the German company. They really focus on the construction of their bags. Now they're very, very bag focused. I'm going to get into the company a little bit later, but this is really where they shine. This airframe system here has got some very tightly knitted mesh that's on it. So it leaves sort of this airflow pocket behind the bag and keeps the bag sort of arched off of you. Creates that airflow system similar to on my other backpacking video for my day bag that I use, that value close system. This is already built in, right? This is what they want to be. The innovation behind this, like I said, German made, German company, European company, they're really doing it right. Also, the adjustments for these straps are very, very easy. I don't know if you can see in between that gap there's this orange lever. Super easy to pull. You just pull the lever, pull down on the strap, and these adjust up and down. Very easy to adjust on the trail. You can always get your bag to where you think it's going to be, but 2, 3 to 5 miles in, you're going to want to change your straps probably. It does have the load lifter, so you can get higher up onto your back and your shoulders. But that strap adjustment system, I think, is very, very key. It's super easy to do on the trail. Like I said, mine was taking me 5-10 minutes to adjust. Hers took her 30 seconds, maybe a minute to take off and adjust and figure out where it goes. So I think that's outstanding. One thing my wife did say, that this is pretty much the only con that she had for this bag, is that when the load lifters were pulled up all the way and this thing was adjusted properly, it didn't leave her any room on the back of her head to where she could really kind of lift up and look around. Also, when wearing a full brimmed hat that went around her, it was really, really annoying. She had to flip up the back of it to where that part was really a little bit uncomfortable for her. But otherwise, carrying the bag and the weight really had no issues with it. Chest strap here, the torso strap is adjustable for height, so what fits you best. And then also the hydration, or these two ports here, they're already pre-formed. I think that's really cool because if you're putting a hose through there for your hydration port, or if you're just going to clip a Garmin or whatever it is there every time. You don't have to fight with using two hands to pull the strap off, put your hose through. It's just going to go through one-handed every time. So like I said, the company is very, very backpack focused. They're an outdoor company, but they mostly focus strictly on bags. Right up my alley. I think that's great. One thing that I haven't seen a whole lot of companies do before, in fact, this is the only company I've seen to do it. Not saying no other company does, but this is the only company I've noticed that does this, is they keep some information in here. A danger warning of like how to stop and think if something bad is happening to you, sort of take that first breath. They have emergency call numbers for Europe and US, and then if you're in a different country, you can write in an emergency call number like 911. In Europe, it's 112. If you're somewhere else, it could be 111, 000, whatever it is in those countries. You can write it down in there. And then there's also a first aid standard ABC to first aid. That is so amazing, because if you are out on the trail and you're in an emergency situation to where you think you might not make it, your friends get hurt, your spouse broke their arm or whatever, you see something traumatic, you're gonna be in shock a little bit, and there's going to be an adrenaline dump. And so when that starts to come down, whether you fight or flight, whichever you go into, it's very nice to have this reference to where all you have to do is open up your pack, and it's going to tell you some reminders of who to call and what steps to take until help gets there. That could be life-saving, especially out on the trail. If you're going to be looking for gear, first aid gear, whatever it is through your bag, you're going to see this and you're going to remember like, oh, okay, I can call this number. I can text this number on my Garmin InReach. I can, remember to check airway, check bleeding, check circulation, all that kind of stuff that might go out the window, especially if it's a first time situation. Everyone likes to think they're really, really prepared for those things, and you can be as prepared as possible. But when you see a loved one or a friend or a spouse injured or knocked out or unresponsive or bleeding, a lot of that training goes right out the window. So I think it's great that they had that stop and breathe, check yourself, and then check the person that you're with on the inside of your pouch. Haven't seen another company do that. I think that's really cool. Now, when it comes to this company, Deuter, whatever you want to call it, Deuter is the correct pronunciation. They, like I said, they're a German company out of Europe. They do a lot of really cool things. They are very just backpack focused. Like I said, that air system, that AirTrek system that they came up with, I think is really, really cool. Haven't seen it on any American-made products. Haven't seen it on any non-American made products. I don't know if it's just something that's trademarked and they're the only ones doing it, but they're very, very, very focused on that. That's awesome. This bag specifically is aimed at being for women, which I think is another cool thing. My hiking partner, my backpacking partner, life partner, everything is my wife. She's a woman. So it's cool that there are products directed specifically for her. Women are out on the trail too. I think it's great that they have products that they can go straight to instead of having to, go aimlessly walk up and down aisles or at backpack stores trying everything on. They know this company offers, almost 100 bags that they have just for women. It's really cool that they focus on that. If you check out their website, you'll see some pretty cool things that they focus on. Click into their website and go look at some of the things that they offer. They tell you how to be safe while you're traveling, how to actually plan tours, how to know if something might be a little fishy, how to plan with maps, how to plan for backpacking itself. They touch on some European backpacking and then some stuff in the States. That's outstanding. If you're from the US and you're going over there and you don't know all the legal rules, the legal trouble you might get into, some do's and don'ts, some like cultural differences, how to plan for it, what this means, what that means. They have some videos and some information on that. First aid is another area that they focus on, similar to what they put inside the top of their backpack. One of the coolest things I've seen. They also offer some videos and some knowledge on first aid. Nutrition is the third area that they focus on. They discuss how to eat properly while you're out on the trail, how to hydrate properly while you're out on the trail, how to find clean water or clean water yourself, how to bring food, how to cook food, how to properly fill your body with electrolytes. Again, great preparation before you go out on the trail. Another little tab you can touch on is called the partner check. I think that's outstanding. To have that recognition of checking on each other before you go on the trail, while you're out on the trail, and then after is so key. Now, I'm constantly checking on my wife, worried about her every second. So I'm always asking, making sure she's okay. But if you're out with a group of friends, I've been with groups of friends before doing hiking mountains, and two of them take off to the summit, and it could take another 20, 30 minutes for another friend or me if I'm last, whatever it is, to get up there. And those 20, 30 minutes that you're not with each other could be somewhat detrimental to the person that's struggling. If they're struggling, if they're not, and they're just moving at a slower pace, fine. But you want to be able to motivate each other the whole time. Make sure everyone gets up together to your destination, whatever it is, just a campground or a summit or back down to the car, whatever. And I think it's cool they talk about that. They talk about group checks and just partner checks the whole time while you're out on the trail. They touch on some different types of hiking etiquette while you're out on the trail, countries etiquettes. I think that's really cool. But also the last thing that they touch on is their sustainability effort. The products that they use, the companies that they work with, it looks like from the awards that they have on their website that they work with some pretty good groups. There's 1% that's out there. They actually work with even some US-based, the Continental Divide Trail Group. They also have some European sustainable awards on their website. I don't know if it's similar to the US where you can just pay for those type of annotations on the bottom of your website, similar to like how doctors operate. If you go to a doctor's office in the US and they have all kinds of awards all over their wall, most of those are just paid for. Some of them are just sponsored. Most of those are just like, hey, do you want to be in our magazine? Or we'll say that you were the best office in 2019, 2020, whatever. I don't know if it's the same if they're able to just put those on their website, but it looks like with how focused they are on backpacks, with how determined they are to keep innovative things on their bags at the forefront of what they're doing, and with what they discuss about how you can stay safe on the trail, the reminders that they put on there, I think they're really doing some good things at that company. I think that's really cool to see. But if this company is going to charge $200-300, and even some of their men's bags, their Aerolite men's bags, I saw upwards of $1,500. If you're going to be paying that much money, it's really good to know that that company is so focused on backpacks and they're giving to the outdoors. I mean, the outdoors is the community that, or the space that all of us operate in, right? Whether you're going out there in a military capacity, whether you're going out and hunting, whether you're going out and just day hiking, 4-week backpacking, whatever it is, it's all a space that we share. So it's good to see companies that are actually focused on being innovative with their products, but being innovative with being able to help that space as well. Deuter Backpacks and the company is HQ approved.